why Meta went all in on open source and what that means to Meta as a company and the ecosystem more broadly.
We've also had an interesting relationship with this because sequentially as a company, we came after Google. So Google was the first of the great companies that built this distributed computing infrastructure. So they came first. So they were like, all right, let's keep this proprietary because it's a big advantage for us. And then we're like, all right, we need that too. But we built it, and then we're like, OK, not an advantage for us because Google already has that. So we might as well just make it open. And by making it open, then you basically get this whole community of people building around it. So it wasn't going to help us compete with Google for any of the stuff that we were doing to have that technology.
So what he just said is actually less important than what he didn't just say. What he really meant to say is we open sourced it and then we took away Google's advantage. Not that we weren't going to compete with them, so we open sourced it and so we built a community around it. No. The reason they open sourced it is so that they could take away Google's advantage in distributed computing. And next, what he's going to explain is how he did the exact same thing to OpenAI. And it is such a ruthless strategy. I love it. I'm a hyper-competitive person, and I just love to hear these types of stories. And this is also known as the scorched earth strategy. So let's keep watching.
But what we were able to do with things like Open Compute were get it to become the industry standard. So now you have like all these other cloud service platforms that basically use Open Compute, and because of that, the supply chain is standardized around our designs, which means that it's like way more supply, way cheaper to produce. We've saved billions of dollars, and the quality of the stuff that we get to use goes up. So, all right, that's like a win-win. But I think in order for this to work, we do a lot of open source stuff. We do a lot of closed source stuff. I'm not like a zealot on this. I think open source is very valuable, but I also think it sort of makes sense for us because of our position in the market. And the same for AI. I mean, around Llama.
Well, OK, this is where we were going with this.
Yeah, it's similar deal. We want to make sure that we have access to a leading AI model, right? I think just like we want to build the hardware so that we can build the best social experiences for the next 20 years. I don't think that, for us, it's like we've been through too much stuff with the other platforms to fully depend on anyone else. And we're a big enough company at this point that like we don't have to, right? We can build our own core technology platforms, whether that's going to be AR glasses or mixed reality or AI. So I think that's somewhat of an imperative for us to go do that. But, these things are not like pieces of software that are monolithic. They're ecosystems. They get better when other people use them. So for us, there's a huge amount of good, and it philosophically lines up with where we are. We're like, look, I definitely, firsthand have a lot of experiences. We were like trying to build stuff on mobile platforms, and the platforms are just like, nah, you can't build that. Okay, that's frustrating.
So that is the exact lesson that he learned on iOS and Android, but mostly iOS because of Apple. Apple just decided one day that Facebook shouldn't be able to track users across apps, or at least users should have the option to turn that off. And it really hurt Meta's bottom line for a short period of time. They recovered definitely, but it was just a single decision that Apple made. And again, Meta just had complete platform risk, and he will avoid that at all costs. And the cost seems to be hundreds of billions of dollars because they're building their own AI and open sourcing it. They're building their own glasses. They're building their own AR, VR goggles. So he learned his lesson, and now all of us benefit.